Maya sat at the long dining table, her back straight, her face calm. The room around her was glowing with gold lights and quiet music. Crystal glasses clinked. Expensive perfume floated in the air. Everyone was smiling at her. She didn't trust any of it. Across from her, Ryan's mother raised a glass and said something about family. To Maya's left, Ryan's sister was complimenting her new hairstyle. One of the cousins asked for a selfie with her. Even Ryan's father, who had once refused to shake her hand, was suddenly full of praise. Maya smiled back, but inside, she felt cold. Years ago, these same people barely looked at her. She had walked into this house wearing a $40 dress, holding Ryan's hand, trying to belong. No one made room for her. She had been served last at dinner. They asked her rude questions about her background. Some didn't speak to her at all. Back then, Ryan had been cut off from the family for marrying her. They struggled. She worked long nights, building a business from nothing, while Ryan fought to find himself again. And now, everything was different. She was the one with power. Her tech company had taken off. She was on magazine covers. Her name was on billboards. And suddenly, the Caldwells wanted her around. But tonight, their smiles were too wide, their voices too sweet. Something felt off. Dessert arrived. Tiny gold-crusted cakes, carefully placed on fine china. Maya picked up her fork, but didn't eat. She watched Ryan. He looked nervous, avoiding her eyes. Then his father leaned forward, speaking in a smooth voice. "Maya, darling, we were thinking, maybe it's time to revisit the prenup. I mean, it's a bit outdated now, isn't it?" The room went quiet. "Your family," his mother added quickly. "What's ours is yours. And what's yours," someone else joked, "is kind of ours now, right?" Maya didn't laugh. Her fork paused in midair. She looked slowly from one face to the next. All those smiles, all that charm. She knew then, this wasn't just dinner. It was a trap dressed in wine and dessert. She set her fork down, her eyes sharp now. They wanted her money, and they thought they could take it. Maya Thompson grew up in a small house in the suburbs. Her mother was a nurse who worked long night shifts, and her father was a mechanic with grease on his hands and a gentle voice. They didn't have much, but they had love, and they taught Maya to work hard and never depend on anyone else to save her. From a young age, Maya was strong-willed. Teachers called her stubborn. Neighbors said she was too bold. She never let anyone tell her she wasn't enough. But still, people underestimated her. She didn't dress fancy. She spoke her mind. She had a soft southern accent that others sometimes laughed at. None of it stopped her. Then she met Ryan Caldwell. Ryan was everything she wasn't. Tall, quiet, well-dressed. He came from a rich family that owned property, companies, and social connections going back generations. At first, Maya didn't think someone like Ryan would even notice her. But he did. He loved her boldness, her dreams, her fire. When they decided to get married, his family didn't approve. They saw Maya as a nobody. They thought she was after their money. But Ryan didn't care. He told them he would marry her with or without their blessing. They punished him for it. The Caldwell family cut Ryan off. No money, no help, no safety net. He walked away from his old life, and the two of them started fresh, with almost nothing. Those early years were hard. Maya worked 3 jobs, waitressing, cleaning, and running a small online business at night. Ryan tried to find work but struggled. He had always lived in a world of comfort and now felt lost. He felt ashamed. Sometimes Maya would find him sitting in the dark, staring at nothing. But she didn't stop. She kept building her dream, one small step at a time. Her startup slowly grew. She learned how to pitch to investors, how to market, how to fight for every dollar. She failed a few times, but kept going. And then one day, she made it. Not just a little success, big success. Her company took off like lightning. Soon, she was hiring staff, opening offices, traveling for meetings. She got invited to speak at tech conferences. People started calling her a self-made millionaire. Her face was on the cover of Forbes. Everything had changed. Well, almost everything. Ryan stood beside her through it all. He cheered her on, handled the house, supported her in public. But over time, something in him started to shift. He smiled less. He asked more questions. He seemed uncomfortable whenever people praised her more than him. He didn't say it, but she could feel it. He was struggling with the fact that she had become the powerful one. Then something strange happened. After years of silence, Ryan's mother called. She wanted to reconnect. She invited them to lunch, sent flowers, spoke sweetly, praised Maya's success. At first, Maya tried to believe it was real. Maybe people change. Maybe they were proud of her now, but the timing felt too perfect. Her Forbes article had just come out, and suddenly the family that once ignored her now wanted her back in their lives. Maya felt uneasy. She kept her smile polite, but her guard was up. Ryan told her to give them a chance, but deep down, she didn't trust it. She didn't trust them. There was a weight in the air now, heavy and tense. Something was coming, and Maya was ready to face it, whatever it was. It started with a calendar alert that wasn't meant for her. Maya was using the shared tablet she and Ryan kept in their kitchen. She just wanted to check a grocery list, but a small pop-up caught her eye. It was a calendar reminder, meeting with Caldwell Legal, private, 11 a.m. She stared at it for a moment. She hadn't heard anything about this. She clicked the event. The guest list showed Ryan and a man she didn't know, someone with an email address from the Caldwell family's law firm. Her stomach sank. That night when Ryan came home, she waited until after dinner. The air between them was calm, but Maya's thoughts were racing. "Did you meet with your family's lawyer today?" she asked, keeping her voice even. Ryan looked up, startled. "What?" She didn't blink. "I saw it on the tablet." He looked away, then back at her, eyes shifting. "It was just estate stuff. Planning. Nothing serious," he said quickly. "Estate planning?" she repeated. "Yeah. My mom wanted me to talk to someone. It's not a big deal." Maya leaned back in her chair. "Did he bring up the prenup?" Ryan hesitated. That pause said everything. "He mentioned it," Ryan said slowly, "just in passing." "And did you shut it down?" she asked. Ryan didn't answer. Her heart dropped. "Ryan, I didn't say yes to anything," he said. "We were just talking. You've changed, Maya. You don't need that anymore." She felt like she'd been slapped. Maya stood up and walked to her desk. She opened a drawer and pulled out a thick envelope. Inside was the original prenup. She placed it on the table between them. "You remember this?" she asked. Ryan nodded, uncomfortable. "You signed it when you had nothing, when your family turned their back on you. And now, when they see me on magazine covers and making money, suddenly they want to update things?" "It's not like that," Ryan said. "They're trying to look out for themselves," Maya snapped. "Not for you, and definitely not for me." Ryan rubbed his face. "Maya, you're not the same woman I married." "You're right," she said. "I'm stronger now. I don't let people play me. That prenup protected me then, and it's going to protect me now." The room fell silent. The tension was sharp and heavy. Maya picked up her phone and walked away. She didn't cry. She didn't shout. She just called her lawyer, because now she knew this wasn't about love or family. It was about control, and she would never let anyone own her again. The gifts started showing up the next week. A box of luxury chocolates arrived at Maya's office with a handwritten note from Ryan's mother. "Thinking of you, darling. Let's do lunch soon." Then came the flowers, then a silk scarf in her favorite color. Lunch invitations followed, polite texts from his sister, calls from his aunt. They all wanted to reconnect. They missed her. They were so proud of everything she'd built. Maya didn't buy it. Her friends didn't either. "They're playing nice now because they want something," said Tasha, Maya's oldest friend and first investor. "This is strategy, not love." Maya nodded but said nothing. She was trying to keep the peace for Ryan's sake. He seemed caught in the middle, quiet, distant, more withdrawn than usual. When Maya brought up the lawyer meeting again, he brushed it off. "I told you it wasn't serious," he said. "They were just asking questions." "You should have shut it down," she said softly. Ryan sighed. "I'm stuck between the two worlds. I'm just trying to make things work." "Then why does it feel like you're always standing on their side?" He didn't answer. At night, they stopped talking as much. Maya stayed later at the office. Ryan went to bed early or worked out alone. The laughter and lightness between them slowly disappeared. Then Maya's lawyer called. "There's something you need to see," she said. Maya drove straight to her lawyer's office, where a folder waited on the table. Her lawyer opened it and pointed to a highlighted section in a financial document. "Ryan's trust fund has a special clause. It was updated last year. Around the same time his family started getting back in touch." Maya leaned in, reading the words slowly. "If you agree to sign any joint estate amendment with Ryan, control of several assets shifts to the Caldwell family," her lawyer explained. Maya stared at the page. "So if I sign something, even something small, they could take part of what I built?" "Yes. They're waiting for you to lower your guard." Maya felt like the air had been knocked out of her. She drove home in silence. Ryan was in the kitchen, pouring tea. "We need to talk," Maya said. He looked up, already tired. "What now?" She held up the document. "Your trust. That hidden clause. Did you know? Ryan didn't speak. That was all the answer she needed. You were going to let me walk into this blind. I didn't think they'd actually do it, he muttered. Then why didn't you tell me? His voice rose. Because every time I bring something up, you act like I'm trying to steal from you. Because your family is. They're still my family, Maya, and I'm sick of choosing between you and them. She folded her arms. You already made your choice. You just won't say it out loud. He slammed the tea mug on the counter. You know what, Maya? I miss when we were equal, before all this money made you into someone else. Her chest tightened. You mean before I became stronger than you? She asked quietly. He didn't deny it. That night, Maya slept in the guest room. She stared at the ceiling for hours, remembering her younger self, the girl working 3 jobs, crying in silence, telling herself to just hold on. She had promised back then that no one would ever use her again. And now, here she was, being pulled into a trap by people who smiled to her face and planned behind her back. She wasn't going to wait anymore. The next day, she started making quiet moves. She met with her legal team to build an exit strategy. She reviewed every contract, every share, every account. She shifted assets, updated protections, and made sure nothing could be taken from her, not without a fight. Meanwhile, the Caldwell family changed tactics. Rumors began to spread. Investors called to ask about her mental state. One partner said he heard she might be stepping down. Another said he heard she was difficult to work with. Maya knew exactly where the whispers were coming from. They're trying to break your image, her assistant told her. They won't, Maya said, but it hurt. Every step forward felt heavy. She felt more alone than ever. Ryan stayed in the house, but they barely spoke. When they did, it always turned into an argument. She no longer felt like she had a partner. She had a witness, someone who was watching everything fall apart but doing nothing to stop it. Still, Maya kept going, because she had built herself from nothing once. And if she had to do it again, without Ryan, without his family, she would. She wasn't afraid of starting over. She was only afraid of becoming small again, and she would never let that happen. The news broke on a Monday morning. Maya Thompson had filed a legal motion, not for divorce, but to enforce and update the prenup she and Ryan had signed years ago. The motion made one thing very clear. Her assets, her business, her wealth would remain hers, fully and legally protected. It hit the Caldwell family like a bomb. News outlets picked it up by the afternoon. Social media buzzed. Some called her bold, others called her cold. But Maya didn't care. She walked into her office with her head high, her team beside her, and cameras flashing at the glass doors. The Caldwell family wasn't used to being exposed. They were used to private wins, silent control. Now, the world was watching, and Maya had drawn a line they couldn't erase. That night, Ryan's mother showed up at Maya's office. No appointment, no warning, just fury behind a red designer coat. Maya stepped out of her meeting room when she heard the voice. You've gone too far, Ryan's mother snapped, eyes burning. This isn't how our family handles things. Maya didn't flinch. I'm not part of your family. Remember, the older woman took a step closer. Her voice dropped, full of venom. We built this legacy. Every building, every name, every dollar. You're just a guest here, Maya. A guest who's gotten far too comfortable. Maya took out her phone, opened a folder, and showed her a document. This guest, she said slowly, kept your entire business afloat when your cash flow dried up 2 years ago. She swiped to another screen. Financial records, quiet investment deposits, transfer receipts. Your so-called legacy, it was running on my money. Ryan's mother went pale. Ask your board if you don't believe me, Maya added. Or maybe you should have read the fine print. She turned away without another word. The courtroom was packed when the first hearing began. Reporters lined the hallway. Family lawyers sat stiff and tight-faced. Ryan sat on the bench next to Maya, but there was space between them. He looked tired, more tired than she'd ever seen him. When the judge called his name to speak, Ryan stood slowly. Everyone waited. I didn't want to hurt her, he began, voice low. But my family pressured me. They said she was changing, that she needed to be reined in, that we could fix everything if she just trusted us again. He looked down. I didn't stop them. I didn't protect her. I let them twist everything. There was a gasp in the room. Even Maya's lawyer looked surprised. The Caldwell legal team shifted uncomfortably. Ryan sat back down, not looking at anyone. The judge turned to Maya's lawyer. "We have one more matter to present, Your Honor," she said calmly. She handed the judge a document. Maya Thompson, through a private holding company, acquired a significant stake in Caldwell Financial Group 3 months ago. She now holds 51% voting control. Dead silence. All eyes turned to Maya. She sat straight, hands folded, calm. Her lawyer continued. "Our client had reason to believe her intellectual and financial property might be threatened. This investment was made to protect her interests, and now serves as proof that she has never been the one taking anything, only defending herself." Ryan's mother stood up suddenly. "This is outrageous." The judge silenced her with a single look. Outside, cameras waited. Reporters shouted questions. But inside the courtroom, Maya didn't say a word. She didn't need to. She had said everything that mattered. Through truth, through receipts, and through power no one had seen coming. She hadn't destroyed the Caldwell name. They had done that themselves. All she had done was take back control. Ryan packed his bags in silence. The house felt too big, too cold. He didn't ask Maya to stop him. Maybe he knew she wouldn't. When he stood by the door holding his suitcase, he looked back at her. "I'm sorry," he said quietly, "for everything." Maya nodded but didn't speak. "I was weak," he said. "I let them get in my head. I forgot who we were." "You didn't forget," Maya said. "You chose." He looked down, ashamed. "I still love you," he said. "I want to rebuild this. We can fix it." Maya took a deep breath. "You can rebuild," she said, "but not with me." Ryan's eyes filled with tears. He didn't argue. He just walked out and closed the door behind him. Maya stood alone in the hallway for a moment. Then she walked upstairs, put on her blazer, and left for her first board meeting as CEO of the newly merged company. When she entered the conference room, everyone stood. She had earned that respect, not through a name, not through family ties, but through grit and smart decisions. She took her seat at the head of the table. "Let's begin," she said. The meeting was long, but smooth. Maya answered every question with confidence. She knew this business inside out. These people were no longer strangers trying to test her. They were her team now. After the meeting, she made one of her first official announcements. She was creating a scholarship fund in her mother's name, Linda Thompson. It would support young women in tech, especially from working-class backgrounds. Reporters asked if she'd name it after the Caldwell family. Maya smiled. "No," she said. "This is for the woman who taught me to stand on my own. Not the people who tried to make me feel small." The story went viral. News channels replayed her speech. People shared it online, saying she was an inspiration. Others posted clips of her courtroom win, calling it a masterclass in silent power. The Caldwell family, once seen as untouchable, started to fall apart. Business partners pulled out. Old secrets leaked to the press. The public turned against them. People said they'd built their name on pride. But it only took one woman with truth to break their illusion. Maya didn't watch the interviews or read the gossip. She stayed focused. She showed up every day, did the work, led with purpose. No games, no distractions. One night, her younger cousin Amara sat on the couch, watching Maya's scholarship speech on TV. Amara looked up at her mum and said, "She's so cool. No one gets to own you just because they think they know your worth." Her mother smiled and nodded. Maya didn't know this happened, but if she had, she would have smiled too, because that's what she had always wanted. Not just to win, but to show others they didn't have to be small to survive. A few weeks later, Maya stood on a quiet hill, flowers in her hand. She was at the cemetery, visiting her parents' grave. She placed the flowers down and sat cross-legged in the grass. "I did it, Mama," she whispered. "You said I was meant for more. I finally believe you." She opened a folder from her bag and placed a copy of the scholarship letter by the gravestone. Then she stood up, brushed off her pants, and walked back to her car. No driver, no bodyguards, no cameras, just her, Maya Thompson, proud, alone, but finally free. A year had passed. The air was warm, the sky soft with orange and pink light. The sun was beginning to set. Maya walked slowly through the quiet cemetery, holding a small bouquet of white flowers in one hand and a folder in the other. She wore simple clothes, no fancy jewelry, no spotlight, no noise, just peace. She reached the gravestone of her parents, Linda and Marcus Thompson. She knelt down, brushing a little dust off the stone, and placed the flowers carefully in the holder beside it. Then She opened the folder and took out a document. It was the official launch of the Linda Thompson Scholarship Fund, fully funded, already accepting students. She smiled and placed the folder gently at the base of the stone. "I finally did it," she whispered. Her voice was steady, calm. "You always told me I was meant for more. I didn't believe it back then." She paused and looked up at the sky for a moment. "But I do now." A soft wind passed through the trees, rustling the leaves gently. The world felt quiet, like it was listening. Maya stayed there a little longer, just sitting in silence. Then she stood up, gave the stone one last touch, and walked back to the car she had driven herself. No driver, no staff, no one telling her what to do or where to be. She opened the door, got in, and started the engine. As she pulled out of the parking lot, the sun dipped lower, casting a warm golden light behind her. The car drove down the empty road, the sky glowing quietly, and then everything faded to black. Do you think Maya made the right choice by walking away from Ryan and his family? Or should she have tried to forgive and rebuild with them? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want more powerful, emotional stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.